All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Colin Brandon, and on this channel, we just talk sports, mostly college football and basketball. College basketball is my favorite, so maybe a little more of that. But yeah, really, whatever. I'll talk anything. Let me know what you guys like in the comments, and I'll do my best to make videos. The stuff that the majority of y'all likes. I started on TikTok, and it kind of spilled over to here because a lot of people are asking if I had a YouTube channel. Yeah, so let's get into it. Today, we're gonna be talking about what that Notre Dame Clemson game means for the playoff. What a game. First off, I did not see that coming, and I kind of got roasted on my TikTok because not too much. The people over there are really nice, so I was kind of pleasantly surprised that I didn't get as many clown emojis as I thought I was going to get. I got some. There were definitely some, and that's okay. I could take it. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong on a hot take, and I thought that Clemson was going to destroy, but you know what? They didn't. Notre Dame played a great game. Their offensive line controlled that game in a way that I have not seen an offensive line do probably all year. And that could just be because I'm watching the wrong teams. Like there are some great offensive lines in college football this season. But what they did, they shut down the pass rush very well. Clemson had to bring a lot of people and leave themselves exposed in the secondary if they wanted any chance of getting to Ian Book. And I think they got to him a couple times. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but still, yeah, what a game. Notre Dame played really well. I wasn't crazy impressed with their defense. They let up what was going to be. It was like in the 40s. But hey, they kept up with a Clemson offense with their offense. Like I was also very impressed with how many points that Notre Dame put up for not having very many explosive plays. I think they're ranked like almost 30th in explosive plays this year. And teams that are usually in the top 5 are usually ranked at least in the top 10 in explosive plays over 10 yards. So that was really interesting to me. So what does this game mean for the college football playoff? And I don't know for sure, but I can tell you what I think is going to happen based off of what has happened in prior years. I think that, one, for sure, Clemson has to win out to make the college football playoff, and I think they can. And two, now Notre Dame is going to have to win out to make the college football playoff as well, because if they... Well, actually, okay, I'm not going to say that, because if they slipped up and lost a regular season game in the ACC, but then were able to still meet Clemson in the ACC championship and beat them, I think that they can make it with one loss. Here's where I don't think that 2 ACC teams are going to make it, and so I think that it was really a lose-lose in the situation that it was for Notre Dame to beat to play Clemson without Trevor Lawrence and without a couple of key defensive players. One of them being, their defensive leader, and James Skalski. Because, and they've been saying this all week, that if Notre Dame loses, they'll be like, oh, Notre Dame's not legit. They can't even beat Clemson without those guys. They got a backup quarterback in there. No matter how good DJ is, he's still a backup, even though he started 99.9% of the other colleges in Division I football. It would lose something not having Trevor Lawrence in there and beating him, and that's what happened. I think is that this game, it's going to linger in the mouths of the committee, that if they get to the ACC championship and lose to Clemson, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, you see, I told you that Notre Dame's not as good as we thought they were, and now we're going to have to leave them out because that was kind of fluky that they won that one game. They probably don't deserve to be in the playoff. And whether that's probably not fair, it's definitely not fair. But it's probably what's going to happen. Which sucks for Irish fans. I'm not a big Irish fan, but I'm not an Irish hater either. Contrary to what, if you're coming here from TikTok, you probably think that I'm just like an absolute Irish hater. But it's because everybody asks me questions on the Irish, and I talk about how overrated they are. You know what? I haven't... Since the humbling experience that was Saturday night, I have not talked about how overrated Notre Dame is, but I still don't think that they're going to beat Clemson at full strength. But I also don't like to take away from their win of Clemson. I'm just being devil's advocate here, saying that that's probably what the committee's going to do. And so for that reason, I think that Notre Dame, they have to beat Clemson. They absolutely have to beat them again, or there's not a chance that they're going to make the playoff. Because if Clemson beats Notre Dame in the committee, Clemson I think would automatically be in because they lost close to a good team on the road without their great players, or without their best players. I'm going to go ahead and say that most of Clemson's players are great players. Because that's just how the landscape of college football is. Alabama and Clemson players are always they're going to be filled with great talent. That's a conversation for a different video. Where was I? So I was saying that Clemson. So what it means for the playoff is they're not going to put two ACC teams in. They're just not. And if Clemson loses, they're out because they'll have two losses. And even though they're in the same team, and Notre Dame's a good team. I don't see Clemson being put in that situation. In the same way, if it was reversed and Notre Dame lost twice to Clemson, they'd be out too. But if Clemson beats Notre Dame, yeah, they're just not going to have two ACC teams in the playoff. It'd be really fun if they did, and if it comes down to that, and Clemson plays Notre Dame really close and just barely squeaked, like if they beat him in overtime with Trevor Lawrence. Oh, that could put the playoff committee in a super sticky situation, which could be a lot of fun because you got to realize wider picture here. I don't think any Pac-12 team's going to make it, and I don't think that any Big 12 team's going to make it. I don't bet a whole lot, but if I were like a big time betting man, I would bet that the Big 12 is for sure out of it. I would bet. And I'd be more confident in that than the Pac-12 not getting a team in. But I just don't think that the lack of games in the Pac-12 is going to sit well with the committee when stacking up against like a second SEC team, or even an ACC team with like 10 games that they've played. But so I think that the SEC's got a real chance to get two teams in, especially with the Big Ten being so down. I think Ohio State will probably make it for sure. I mean, barring like a huge upset, because the Big Ten right now just looks. I don't even want to talk about it. My team's in the Big Ten. I'm an Illini fan, so it's tough. You can drop my condolences in the comments if you're also an Illini fan. I would love to form a support group. We can meet weekly. We'll figure out some time to do that. Hey, but we always have basketball. Anyways, I'm sorry I went off on that tangent. As you can see, sometimes I get a little bit distracted. But don't we all? Anyways, Ohio State's in it because the Big Ten's down, and what good teams they have. Wisconsin haven't been able to play due to a massive COVID outbreak. But so I just don't see any way that Ohio State doesn't make it. And even if Wisconsin's healthy, I think Ohio State beats them. So I think it's really down to we got Ohio State. And Alabama are our locks right now. Clemson and Notre Dame, either or is a lock if they win. And I would think that one of the slots is going to get filled up by one of those teams. I'd almost be certain of it. So just for the sake of argument, we're just going to say Clemson. Okay, Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State are in, and then that's going to give us this last spot. Which is Texas A&M or Florida? Like, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I would love to see like BYU or Cincinnati make it, but just with how everything has been playing out, if Florida beats Alabama, they're getting two SEC teams in. If Florida loses to Alabama in the SEC championship, then Texas A&M's probably going to make it without playing in the SEC championships. And the Texas A&M one getting in doesn't sit well with me. So maybe that if in the case of Alabama beating Florida in the SEC championship, that would probably give us the best scenario to get like a BYU or Cincinnati in. This Notre Dame Clemson game, man, it just like shook up everything because now I still really think that SEC is the only team to get two conferences, but you could argue Big Ten and ACC depending on how Wisconsin looks. And now with Notre Dame, but I just don't see it happening that any conference but the SEC gets two teams in. Even though the Big Ten was favored to get 2 teams in, there's like a 33% chance that the Big Ten would get 2 teams in, and that was higher than any other conference. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Also, again, I would really appreciate a sub. So thank you for watching. Go follow me on Instagram, TikTok. But thanks, guys, and stay tuned for the next video.